We coming at y'all boys with the craziest conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Now, I'm somewhat of a, what I'm saying, philosopher, conspiracy theorist myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what could be real, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we could. I don't know if we've been to space. Shit, the world could be a damn hexagon for all I know, bro. I never been to space. I literally have. I don't know what's going on up there, bro. I don't know what's going on in the what 3% of the ocean that we discovered. Is that not crazy to y'all? We have no idea where we're living at, bro. We have no idea where we're living at, bro. We just on this spinning ball. Let me not get into it, bro. They gonna talk. They gonna talk about it for. They gonna talk about it all for me, bro. The craziest conspiracy theories that turn out to be true. Let's get it.
Crazy conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. The Canadian Fruit Machine. The Fruit Machine is an ambiguous name, but if you have a keen mind, you might have had a few assumptions on what it could have been about. But if you're still in the dark, let me give you its other name, Canada's Gaydar, or Gay Detection Machine. That should paint a bit of a clearer picture. If I told you that the Canadian government in the 1960s came up with a strange device and a series of tests specifically made to identify gay men so that they could discriminate against them, you would call me crazy, right? Well, you're not alone. But
Yo, that's some top tier hating shit, bro. Nah, that's hating. That's crazy hating, bro. Imagine, yo, imagine every time you step into a room, I make you do a damn roll call just so I can slap this shit out you every time. Bruh, that shit would be fucking crazy, my nigga. Imagine having to be detected every time just because you're gay. Just so they can discriminate against you, my nigga. Discriminate against you, bro. That's crazy, bro.
unfortunately, you are wrong, and the Canadian government did exactly that. Let me explain. The whole point of this fruit machine was essentially to identify and remove homosexual men working in government roles, specifically in the military and law enforcement. During the 1960s, Dr. Frank Robert Wake developed a rather strange series of psychological tests with the purpose of, obviously, identifying gay men. How this machine actually worked was kind of hilarious and extremely rudimentary. Basically, all it would do is it would show you erotic images and say, essentially, gay buzzwords to see if your body had any sort of positive reaction to this stimuli. One of the markers they
How did y'all feel when y'all seen those words? Did y'all feel a little bit queasy? I might have spotted some of y'all, bro. Y'all might have felt, y'all might have got aroused. Y'all dumbass, bro. Hey, man. I guess they just got to wipe out the gay niggas, bro. I stand with y'all personally, bro. I mean, shit, y'all, I don't got no problem with it, bro. I don't roll with none of that shit. That shit gay as hell. But you feel me? If you want to do some freak shit like that, bro, it's go ahead, bro. But I don't want to hear about it, see about it. You feel me? Touch about it. I don't want nothing about it, bro. You feel me? It's all cool. Just not my, you know what I'm saying? Not my type of. I don't play in that sandbox.
they were looking for was a dilation of the subject's pupils, among other things. This was essentially the equivalent of a lie detector, but instead of detecting lies, it was detecting the big gay. Regardless of its ineffectiveness and rather strange methods to begin with,
Thank you.
the results were taken seriously and led to the firing and discrimination of thousands of people, which unfortunately led to a huge rise in suicides, which is just heartbreaking. This entire project was discontinued in the late 1960s, making this entire fruit machine fiasco very short-lived, at least relatively, but the impact was still long-lasting. On top of the jobs and lives lost, the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, still continued to collect files on suspected gay people for years after this project was concluded. So if you're ever with a friend and they say, that guy's gay, I can tell because I have gaydar, tell them you don't have gaydar, the Canadian government had gaydar, and they used it to discriminate, whether they were gay or not, as any little twinkling of evidence was good enough for them, and this had huge impacts. Then
Nah, but you definitely could tell when a nigga is gay, though, bro. It's very like some niggas are very good at hiding it, but they every now and then they will give you subtle hints, bro. You like any. anybody that does some crazy shit, there will always be signs, my nigga. Like, damn, you feel me? Them weird niggas, bro. They'll always have signs like throughout their whole lives, bro, and that they don't just pop out the blue and be like, damn, I'm finna go. You feel me? Finna go take some dick. You feel me? Damn, they don't just be like that, bro. It's always some signs in it. You feel me? You know, a nigga be like, you feel me? A nigga will sit there in your face, and you could just tell, bro. Just look at that nigga eyes. You might say something off, like, hey, you feel me? Hey, or stop. What did you just say? Nah, bro. You'll spot a nigga, bro. You'll spot a nigga like that.
Just sit there and awkwardly look at each other for a few minutes, and if they ask you how you knew this, you know what to tell them. Trust me, bro. The gay bomb. While we're on the topic of the big gay, I have one more for you. That being the gay bomb, which was a non-lethal chemical weapon theorized by, surprise, surprise, the United States military, specifically the Air Force. This bomb's purpose was simple yet strange. It was meant to be dropped over enemy territories, spreading a chemical mixture in the form of gas that would turn enemy troops essentially homosexual. This hypothetical weapon was confirmed in a 1994 Department of Defense document, where it spoke of a hypothetical weapon designed to dispense sexual pheromones among enemy forces to generate mutual attraction. Now, initially, I thought the military application would be that the soldiers would just be too busy loving on each other to get any fighting done, but that wasn't the case. It's actually a lot less interesting. Supposedly, the entire point was to cause confusion and panic amongst these troops, reducing their effectiveness in battle. Picture this: the year is 1993. You and your friend are sitting on the couch watching the movie Sniper, which just came out, when all of a sudden you say to your friend jokingly, I bet the US government's probably thought about making bombs that would turn the enemies gay. You and your friend have a chuckle and continue the movie. However, the following year,
Bro, could this nigga stop saying these lame ass story times? Nobody wants to hear this shit, bro. Can you get to this conspiracy theories, you dork? Like, come on now, bro. I'm not trying to hear you feel me, your stand up comedy, bro. I just want to hear your conspiracy.
you are hanging out with the same friend again, and instead of watching a movie, you are doing something that every
Not trying to picture shit.
teenager does.
No, bro. Shut up.
Reading a Department of Defense release, when all of a sudden you see actual confirmation that the US Air Force was contemplating a gay bomb. After reading this, you're shocked and you look your homie in the eyes and can't believe that your silly little joke was true. And in that moment, you and your friend start making out because you guys were gay. Alright, seriously though, the first two are a bit silly, but
I want to click off the. What even was that for, bro?
these get a lot more serious. Project MK Naomi. As I said, Project MK, I'm sure the word ultra was the first thing that popped into your head. And that's because most people know about that crazy true conspiracy theory. And for that reason, I wanted to add something a bit different. Project MK Naomi was actually the successor of MK Ultra, and was a collaboration between the CIA and the US Department of Defense. And it went on for almost 2 decades, from the 1950s to the 1970s. The entire goal of Project MK Naomi was to gain a deeper knowledge on chemical and biological warfare weapons, specifically to determine what substances would kill people and what chemicals would do what to people. Once the CIA and Department of Defense had a list of chemicals and a list of reactions ranging from irritation all the way to death, they then started focusing on unique delivery systems for these chemicals, most notable of which being dart guns, specifically dart guns either filled or having their tip coated with these specific chemicals, with one of the most famous examples being the heart attack gun, which was, like you may have guessed, a gun that shot a dart at a target that would, shortly after injection, cause a heart attack in the victim, making a very intentional death seem accidental. And it's no doubt that these weapons would have been very useful for spies, especially during the Cold War, when tensions and the need for a good spy was at an all-time high.
Now I heard about this though. It's like crazy how many weapons and shit like they could be making like literally right now, bro. They probably making a Zapatron from Fortnite, bro. And we'll never ever know it, bro. Cause they could just keep secrets like that, bro. They'll just never tell us. Shit. Some baby ass shit, you feel me, could be in this Mountain Dew. they won't tell you, bro. Just cause. Just cause they're the government, bro. They can do it like that, bro. They got it like that. Just why not? You feel me? I feel like sometimes they do be wanting to test shit to see how much power they got. You feel me? Sometimes. You feel me? Like the COVID shit. Excuse me if I'm wrong. RIP to the niggas that died to COVID. You feel me? I ain't never get COVID. I'm just a strong ass nigga, I guess. You feel me? I don't get shit like that. I got like probably world's top 10 immune systems. It's really none of me. So COVID, I never got affected by COVID, but I feel like that was just a government plot to see how much power they had, just to see, just to do a little test run, just to be like, yeah, bro, I'm a, you feel me? Let's just see how long we can keep everybody in the crib right quick. You feel me? Let's just trap everybody. You feel me? Let's just trap everybody. We just want to see. You feel me? We just want to see what we can really do. We just want to see what we could. We just want to see what we could cook up right quick. You feel me? See what we could really do. You feel me? See how dumb these niggas really is. We got these niggas wearing masks in public. Mask. You look like some freaking dweebs. Like, come on now.
And if you're for some reason unfamiliar with Project MK Ultra, it's basically the government using LSD on non-consenting individuals to try to test mind control as a very basic elevator pitch. But I'm assuming most of you are aware of that one. USA's fake Cuban attack. This video is quickly taking a very dark turn, but that's kind of how these lists go. In 1962, during the Cold War, the US wasn't just tense with Russia, it also had growing tensions with its southern neighbor, Cuba, specifically because Fidel Castro had risen to power in Cuba and was a rather large proponent of communism, or at least kept a very good relationship with Russia. During this time, the US experienced the Cuban Missile Crisis, which simply put was Russia putting their nukes in Cuba because the US had put their nukes in Turkey and Italy. This situation was scary, but it was resolved safely. However, the US did not forget, hence them coming up with Operation Northwoods. The plan suggested that the government would carry out a series of fake terrorist attacks on the American military and civilians, to then blame Cuba for these attacks and then justify going to war. Some of these crazy actions that they planned on doing to their own people was hijacking planes, sinking boats, and even bombing US cities, all done intentionally to point the blame at Cuba. But this wasn't just a get back for the Cuban Missile Crisis. This plan was part of a larger effort to oppose Fidel Castro.
I don't lie, if I had a missile, there's no telling what I would do with it, bro. I'll probably nuke a planet. I just want to see what it do. I just want to see something in my lifetime. Fuck it, I only live once. Let's nuke some shit, bro. Let's nuke the sun. You feel me? You feel me? They better hope I never become president, because I will... Nah, I'd be a good president, but I'd just be testing shit. You feel me? What does do? Fuck around, turn the vice president into a frog. I have to kiss her. You feel me? Turn her back human. I'm tripping, bro.
Castro's communist government, which was aligned directly with the Soviet Union, the USA's enemy at the time. And with the Soviet Union having an ally so close to US soil, the US was feeling the heat. Although, would that have justified any of these actions? I don't believe so. That being said, fortunately, none of these actually happened. Although it's not because the government had a change of heart and realized this was awful. President John F. Kennedy simply rejected the plan because he thought that this would cause a large-scale war against Russia, which he deemed to be too risky. Regardless though, none of these horrible attacks injured any innocent people, which is great. And nobody even knew about it until 1997, when the documents were declassified and made public. So yeah, although the government didn't sacrifice its own people in the name of war, they definitely heavily considered it, which is definitely concerning. North Korea abducting Japanese citizens. During the late 1970s to early 1980s, there were rumors spreading around coastal Japan that North Korean agents were abducting innocent Japanese citizens and taking them back to North Korea for a plethora of reasons. This rumor even gained government attention and was simply brushed off as a conspiracy theory that had absolutely no merit. That was until it was proven to be right. Between 1977 and 1983, North Korean agents were doing exactly what I described, abducting Japanese citizens from coastal cities of Japan and taking them back to North Korea for a multitude of reasons. And these people people weren't your typical abduction victim. They weren't prostitutes or homeless or anybody who seemed potentially vulnerable. They were seemingly chosen at random, making this even more scary and bizarre. The Japanese government officially recognizes over 17 victims of North Korea's abduction, although North Korea only claims they abducted 13, which to me is even crazy that they admitted to anything.
Well, I feel like North Korea. I feel like both the Koreas in general, bro. They just be doing some weird shit, bro. Like they gotta be like top 10 weirdest countries on this earth, bro, or continents, whatever that is. You feel me? Is Kim Jong Un still the president down there or whatever? That dude, that man is that man is an odd figure. You feel me? Why was he hanging with Dennis Rodman? Why? Why? That bro, what is South? Shout out South Korea, bro. I come down there one day, bro. Shout out Kim Jong Un. But South Korea and North Korea, bro. They some weird ass dudes, bro. I wouldn't trust them if I was around them.
But some people suggest that over hundreds of people were taken. These victims were ranging anywhere from teenagers to adults, and were kidnapped for, like I mentioned, various reasons, but were most commonly used to teach Japanese or Japanese culture to North Korean spies, so that these North Korean spies could acclimate.
South Korea just seemed like a place I never want to go. It just seemed like prison. You feel me? Just straight prison. I don't really shout out to my South Koreans, bro. If I got any South Koreans in the chat, bro, shout out to y'all boys. But let me know how it is down there, bro. I feel like it's just a straight prison, bro. Just bricks, bro. Can you even leave your house down there? My nigga, like I feel it's just straight war zone. They all they do is just train children to be soldiers down there. That's all it has to be. Same with Russia. I feel like Russia a little more civilized than North and South Korea, bro. You feel me? I never heard of nothing going wrong in North and South Korea, bro. If you really think about it, bro. If I'm tripping, I'm not, you feel me? I'm not no historian or nothing like that, but I never heard nothing ever going down in there, bro. Never, ever, ever.
To the culture and essentially blend right in. Besides teaching at these schools, they would also provide fake IDs for covert operations, as these people weren't going to be in Japan, so spies could take their identity and use them. The only reason that North Korea ever even admitted to any of the abductions was because after investigations by the Japanese authorities, there was simply no doubt at all that these abductions were happening and that these people were in North Korea. It was only until there was absolutely no one else to blame and nowhere else to go for North Korea that they finally admitted. Unfortunately, there really is no happy ending to this story, and the chances are that these abductions have gone on much longer and there has been many more victims than we could have ever imagined in this situation. And with the way that things are currently with North Korea, it's very likely that they will never be held accountable for literally abducting, torturing, and killing innocent Japanese citizens. The US government poisoning alcohol. It's no conspiracy theory that from 1920 to 1933, the US government...
It's probably gonna be the last one, bro. I'm tired of hearing this freak weird ass nigga's voice, bro. Keep on. I don't know. It's just something about him that irk my nerves, bro. I can't listen to him the whole time, bro. You feel me? Great conspiracy theories. You feel me? Great channel. I even leave a light for buddy. But you feel me? Your voice is
banned alcohol, hence this time being known as the Prohibition era, as alcohol was
I would never hear a bitch getting wet to his voice, bro. Like, he'll come to he just doesn't sound like that type of guy. You feel me? Sorry about my voice, bro. I don't know what's going on. If I got some type of like cancer or some shit. God rebuke. Let me knock on wood. Why would I ever say that in my life, bro? Let me chill. What the hell? I'm tripping, bro. But you feel me? He just doesn't seem. Let me chill, bro. why am I doing this?
Literally prohibited. But besides passing laws and regulations to ensure that no alcohol was being produced or distributed, the US government also took a few additional steps to really deter people from consuming alcohol. What the government chose to do was add methyl alcohol into industrial grade alcohols to deter human consumption. It's theorized that the government assumed that having these deadly poisons in this alcohol would cause some of these illegal consumers of alcohol to pass away, deterring these bootleggers to sell their product as it was killing their customers. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and the bootleggers continued to sell, and alcoholics continued to drink. And unsurprisingly, as a result of this, many people were poisoned and died. And in 1927, in New York alone, there was over 41 deaths confirmed to have come from alcohol poisoning from tainted alcohol, specifically the methyl alcohol. The government used this strategy.
Bro, I don't know how ever in your life you will become an alcoholic, bro. Alcoholic tastes like literal death, bro. Like literally, I'm just gonna die as soon as I sip it, bro. Like what enjoyment comes out of that, bro? I don't see one slight bit of enjoyment that comes out of drinking alcohol, bro. Shit, I still have a drink every now and then, bro. You feel me? But I feel like every time I do have a drink, bro, it always shows me why I shouldn't have had a drink, bro. 1 second, I just can't deal with it, bro. Alcohol is something different, bro. Alcohol is it's just something terrible, bro. It shouldn't have been. I don't know how it's not illegal, to be honest, bro. Drinking and driving is crazy, bro. Drinking and driving is absolutely absurd, bro. Like waking up and not knowing at all what you just did the previous day, bro. You could have, you feel me? You could have just ended up in Africa, my nigga, and you have no clue, bro. That's fentanyl level, bro. It's gotta be, bro. Fentanyl level. Probably not as deadly, bro, but it's gotta the drug gotta. You feel me? Fentanyl gotta be somewhere close to alcohol, bro. It's literally liquid death, my nigga. That's what it is.
Strategy up until 1933 when the prohibition ended, and it was at that point confirmed that the US government was literally poisoning alcohol, as it was recorded as a strategy to curb alcohol consumption. So yeah, the US was intentionally putting deadly chemicals into products that they knew that people were consuming. I find this one a bit interesting because although people weren't supposed to be consuming this, the US government knew that people were going to consume this. So the fact that they intentionally put deadly chemicals into it, to me, is a bit concerning. This might just be an optimistic thought, but I would like to believe that there's a way where you can deter people from drinking illegal industrial grade alcohol without putting literal poison in it that's going to undoubtedly cause death. Like potentially adding an agent that is extremely sour or potentially even extremely spicy, making the alcohol essentially unconsumable as it's so uncomfortable to drink, but still rendering it non-lethal. As great as this sounds, this might have not been an option, as those sorts of additives may have rendered the actual industrial grade alcohol less effective, which wouldn't have worked because this alcohol needed to serve its primary purpose, as it wasn't meant to be consumed. It was literally industrial grade. But yeah, anyway, from 1920 to 1933, the US government decided that the best way to deter people from drinking alcohol was by killing them, or at least slowly poisoning them, which I wouldn't say is much better. The USA's fake Vietnam attack. And we're already back.
Alright, yeah, I already done zoned out, bro. That's how I know it's my cue to just end it off right there, bro. Shout out to geek ass nigga, bro. Enjoy the video, trust me, bro. Y'all go subscribe to his channel and shit. Hope y'all enjoy the conspiracy theories. Yeah, we just out this bitch, gang. Ah, what the fuck was that?